Thank you very much, Julia, for letting me know that I was muted on my side. I'm very, very sorry for that. uh, I was talking to myself, and the fact that I was seeing many people were watching, I thought that I was being heard. And I was saying one of the things we are going to be discussing tonight is that we are going to look at why the JSC want to remove the entire Supreme Court bench, including Chief Justice Martha Koome. We are going to be asking ourselves, is it a political move, or is it that there is misconduct among the judges of the Supreme Court? And also we are going to be checking, somebody said that Mount Kenya is likely to betray Kalonzo Musyoka. We are going to be asking ourselves, is there any formal agreement or formation between Kalonzo Musyoka and one Gachagua? Because some of the leaders from Ukabani are saying that there is a possibility the Kikuyus are going to betray Kalonzo Musyoka, and therefore they are asking him to be very cautious with Mount Kenya. We are also going to be asking ourselves, what next for Raila Odinga after he lost the AU position? We were expecting that he was going to declare his support for William Ruto in Mombasa, which he declined. He didn't say that he is supporting William Ruto. We also waited for him to make the same declaration during the celebration of ODM 20 years. He also did not say whether he is going to support William Ruto. We were also expecting that William Ruto was going to attend that celebration. I think he was not invited. So is Raila Odinga in crossroad? Is he contemplating of joining Gachagua? Those are some of the things I would like us to be discussing tonight. Also, Gachagua has said that in 2027, his formation will be fielding a candidate for Nairobi City governorship position. And he said he is very confident that the one they are going to support is the one who will carry the day. So those are some of the things we'll be discussing. And also, we'll also go internationally to look at the foreign policies of one Donald Trump, and also how he is handling the government internally in America, because we know that in America there are so many Kenyans. We're going to be looking at how they are being affected by the style of leadership of Donald Trump. We will be discussing what happened yesterday. We saw that there was a serious exchange between Trump and the president of Ukraine as a risky. So we will be discussing such kind of things. There is a conflict between, let me call it the trade conflict between Donald Trump or America against Canada, America against China, America against Mexico. Those are some of the things we're going to be discussing tonight. I have put the link on the comment section. Please join us. And if you don't want to join physically, you can be writing down your comment there, and I'll be able to read your comment and to let other people know what you have to say on the topics that we shall be discussing. If you want to join, you just need to click the link and it will bring you to the show. You don't have to be on the video. Some people shy to be seen on the video. You can come without turning on your video so that we can hear what you have in mind. This is Africa 24. If you're watching us from the from Zarend Mutembei, please remember also to subscribe to Africa 24 so that you can be knowing every time that we go on air. Together with me, I have Boniface. And Boniface, I'll give you some few minutes to introduce yourself. Then we're gonna start the show. You're most welcome, Boniface. Say hi to our viewers. Can you hear me, Boniface?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Boru,
Yes,
for this opportunity. Doing well here in Nairobi, Kenya.
yes.
Yes, and I'm very happy to join the show today. Looking forward for a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Boniface. You have been doing a fantastic job here in Africa 24. And today I'll be asking Boniface some of these questions. I know he has been doing a lot of research. He has been our host, and today I'm just helping so that I can also relax. Most of the time I come to debate, but today I'll just be moderating. Our wonderful, wonderful viewers, please be together with us. And I know many, many other people will be joining us. We are expecting Zarendo to join us. We are expecting Jeremiah to join us, Giovanni, and many others. So we're going to be having a wonderful, wonderful show. If you have any political question, you can put it down there and we will be in a position to answer your question. Somebody is saying, hi, Julia, welcome to Africa 24. Awesome, you are awesome because you are always together with us. May the good Lord bless you and do you good. Boniface, before I go to other questions, there has been this debate which has been ongoing that the JSC, which is the Judicial Service Commission, want to remove the entire Supreme Court bench, including Chief Justice Mother Koome, due to politicians, no, not politicians, but petitions, due to petitions alleging misconduct, incompetence, and what? And these allegations have been forwarded by the citizens against them to the JSC. So they are saying that Chief Justice and his and her team they have not handled themselves in a competent manner. They have shown some kind of misconduct. What is your take on that? Do you think this is politically motivated? Do you think that it is true Mother Koome is not fit to be in her position and her team? What is your take on this, Boniface?
I think the judiciary is operating under the supervision of the head of state. So they have to
Yes.
consider what the head of state is saying before
Mhm.
joining into any or making any decision. I think they have to consider what the head of state is saying, and I think that is the main reason that makes them not to do their work perfectly. Because if that is the CJ, Mother Koome has to do work without involving any other party, then he has to perform, because we know that judiciary is independent body. That is where we are served this justice. So I think they are operating with other parties being involved when it comes to making decisions for the country, and that is why we are having those
So, Boniface,
disputes.
what I am getting from you is that you think the reason why JSC want to remove the Supreme Court bench is because they are working under the executive. The president is the one controlling the judiciary, and that is why the JSC want to remove them. Is that your point?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mzalendo, you have heard that the JSC want to remove the entire Supreme Court bench. As you say hi to us, can you please tell us what is your take on that, Mr. Mzalendo? And thank you so much for joining.
No, no, good evening, Buru and
Good
Boni.
evening.
I hope you guys are doing well. I am fine. As you can see, the weather is it's absolutely fantastic where I am at the
Yes.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my take on this particular issue is that uh, I feel that the judiciary, the executive feels that the judiciary has been an impediment to whatever to the development that they want to do. And Mburu, you know very well, and in
Yes.
modern democracy, where you have been, you know that the president really wants to control the judiciary. They work hand in hand together for any development to happen. And in any occurrence, even in modern democracy, a president
Yes.
wants to appoint the judge in the bench so that they might be favored. They might be favored in terms of ruling. So it is politics, and that is how it is played. So the president is threatening the judiciary so that they can play ball. Removing him, I think, is not an option because I feel that there's no wrongdoing, and it will be a longer process to remove the judge in Kenya. And by the time he's removed, probably we will have gone into the elections. So maybe there are things that William Ruto's government feels like Martha Koome is blocking the development or the achievement that Kenya Kwanza wants to attain in the short time that they are left with. So it is just politics. It is just the normal politics. But removing Koome would bring another layer of of hatred from the Meru community. And right now is dealing with Gachagua. He doesn't want to open up another can of worms so that he can deal with. So he'd rather deal with Gachagua and manage the Meru politics through Kindiki. So
So,
yeah.
Mzalendo, what I'm getting from you is that you are not agreeing with Boniface. Boniface is saying the reason why the Judicial Service Commission want to remove the entire bench is because the bench, the Supreme Court bench, is working with the executive, is working with the president. They are friends. They are working together. And for you are saying, no, this is the executive that is trying to control the judiciary.
Yeah, the executive wants to control the judiciary because they feel that the judiciary has been blocking some of the development. Remember the issue of housing. The issue of housing was one of the things that the Ruto government feels that they are slow to implement whatever they want to implement. If somebody runs on with the issue of SHA and NHIF in court now, it stalls from there. So, and there are things that the government wants to achieve that the judiciary is blocking them. And remember one thing: right now in Kenya, we don't have an opposition or a minority that is working for the people. So the judiciary is the only arm of government that is working for us at the moment. So if they remove the Martha Koome, then we will have a one-party state ruled by one William Ruto. That is like a dictatorship. So if William Ruto manages to remove the judiciary and puts in a judiciary that is friendly to the government, then the people are on their own. Anything can happen. Now, we are lucky the fourth estate is not yet controlled by the government. But if they also manage to capture the fourth estate, then we are done. So we need to be very, very careful of the government intentions in this. Let the judiciary be very independent. Let the judiciary be an independent body. And if there is any wrongdoing, let it be handled in a manner that is provided by the laws of the country.
Mzalendo, before I go to Giovanni, the JSC is saying that there are some citizens who have forwarded some of the allegations of misconduct and incompetence from the from the bench of the judiciary. Have you heard some of these allegations, or may you be knowing who are these people who have forwarded the petition against the judiciary?
I know. I have seen from the tweets of Abdul Nasir and Nelson Harvey that there are some judicial officers who are very corrupt. The extent of the allegation could be hearsay, but these are subject to investigation. We've not seen a clear report where a judge has been investigated and is taken to court because of corruption in Kenya to date. So I would term those as allegation for now, because I don't have evidence, or I don't have proof, or
Thank you.
somebody is just malicious. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mzalendo. I want to go to Mr. Giovanni, and thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We have just started the show, and the topic which we are handling right now is what is going around the judiciary, which is going on, because we are trying to answer the question to Kenyans why we think the JSC is trying to remove the entire Supreme Court bench. We want to hear your views as you introduce yourself to our viewers. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. How are you, everybody?
We are doing good.
Will you give me some few? I've been having a problem with my network.
Yes.
Will you give me some time as I listen to you, so that I can be able to just within the gist of the conversation,
yes,
so that I can keep flowing?
Yes, that is in order. And also, I want you to know that we can hear you very well. You are very audible. So when you are ready,
Okay.
just let me know on the private chat there, and I'll give you a chance. Mr. Mzalendo, is there anything you'd like to add on that topic of the judiciary?
Now, you see, the judiciary has been once. You remember during the time of I don't know whether it's Kibaki or Uhuru, there was a purge on the judiciary, and so many judicial officers or judges were removed, and others were forced to resign due to corruption. At least there was evidence of corruption in those cases. We have seen also Mike Sonko pulling up some got-you moment with the judges when it comes to corruption. So it is something that it is like saying, police officers in Kenya are being accused of corruption. Yes, we know that they are corrupt, but we need some evidence to show that indeed these officers have been caught in corruption cases, or have been caught on the act and arrested, like we've been seeing the ESCC doing at some point on our highways. So what I would say about Abdul Nasir, remember he was removed and kicked out of JSC because of his arrogance and disrespect to the judges. So some of it could be out of malice, or some of it could be he wants to get back to the judges who kicked him out. So I would assume that it is probably with bad intention, but others would see it like, okay, this is a good thing for the country. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for your views. Mr. Boniface, before I go to Kefa, you have said that the JSC want to remove the entire bench of the judiciary because you think the judiciary is working with the executive, and therefore they are not competent enough to do their job. It seems they are being compromised. But now I want to ask you a question based on what the former deputy president said last week, that the reason why, or the person who wants to remove the the entire bench of the Supreme Court is the president, so that he can be in a position to manage the 2027 election. What is your take on that, Boniface?
Yes, my own point of view is that I think they want to control the judiciary so that they can have the time when it comes to winning 2027 general election. Thank you.
Beautiful. Mr. Kepa, you can go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us what do you think about this topic on the judiciary. The JSC want to remove the entire bench of the judiciary. Let us hear what you have to say about that. Is it politically motivated? Is it a genuine case? What do you think? What can you tell Kenyans about that topic? Kepa, if you can hear me. You can unmute yourself.
I just lost my internet, so I didn't get the point well what we are talking about.
Yes, I was asking the question, what do you think, yes, or why do you think the JSC want to remove the entire Supreme Court bench, including the Chief Justice, Martha Koome? What are some of the reasons that are coming in your mind? Is it politically motivated? Is it a genuine case? Is it because of misconduct and incompetence? What is your take, sir? And introduce yourself.
Since I've not followed the story genuinely, let me do some research, then I'll be able to give best feedback, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to go back to Mzalendo, and I see Jamin who has joined. You can introduce yourself as we proceed. I want to know if we can hear you, Jamin. Is it Jamin or something like that?
Okay, Jamin Juma.
Yes.
I hope you are hearing me.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can I continue?
Yes, you can proceed. Introduce yourself, and you can contribute to the topic if you have heard the question.
Okay. I'm Juma Jamin from Trans Nzoia, yes, County.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Judicial Service Commission is working under the government. And any decision that is made by the government, I think the GSS should just follow, because I know the Judicial Service Commission for the last 2 years, I think they have been just following what the government wants them to do. And the reason why they want to remove all those judiciaries, I think there is that issue that they want to, they're just working on how they are going to go back to the government. You know, okay, let me rephrase it well.
Yes.
In 2027, I think the plan has been set aside on how this government is going back to rule. And therefore, the only hindrance that is making this government to be worried is that the Martha Karua, which is the Chief Justice,
yes,
I think he's going to make some judgment which is not favorable to the government. That's why they want to remove the Martha Koome.
Yes.
And therefore, they want to put there a person who is going to work under them. You know, for the last, let me say since January, there's that issue that has forced this government to plan P, because I think they proposed that there is somebody who's going to sit in that seat.
Yes.
And I know that person is coming from the ODM side. And as you know, Raila Odinga is also scheming on how this person is going to occupy that seat, so that they're able to go as per the decision that is going to be made by the executive. And therefore, that's why they want to force that all the chief justices to be out of that. I think that is my stand, if I can say that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jamin. And I can see most of the panelists are in agreement. And those who are in government, I hope they are listening, the sentiments or the feeling of Kenyans that it is not the JSC which want to remove the entire Supreme Court judge. People are saying it is the government of William Ruto because they want to manage the politics of 2027. That is what I'm getting from the panelists right now. Let me put in Giovanni is trying to join. And I'm very sorry that, sir, your internet is giving you hard time. And the way we are missing to hear what you have to say.
Yes,
Can you go ahead if you can say something?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, first and foremost, what I think, and above all, is it's a game of chess. First and foremost, Ruto came into power not by his own design. I think it was, I think, for me personally, what I think is Ruto came into power. He may think that he came by his own hand, but I think there is a great hand of God within what happened in 2022, and in particular, I am a firm believer in the Word of God.
Yes.
And where that God sometimes gives us, there are times that He doesn't, but there are times that He gives us the kind of leader that we do deserve. Ruto was given to us by virtue of the kind of a people we are. There were times there was an argument we had with a friend of mine, and I told him that all our leaders, we can't keep castigating our leaders because they usually come from where our community is based. They don't come from Uganda, they never come from Burundi, they come among us. So today we may take away kina Babu na Mwamba. Tomorrow we are going to get Shikanda. Today we are going to do away with Mwangi. Tomorrow we are going to get Maina. You understand what I'm saying? Mboro, you've been consistent in what you've been saying through our forum. But trust me, by the time you get to that parliament, you may turn out to be just like those people, unless you personally, as a person, you are changed. So Ruto, by extent and by extension, is a reflection of our society. He is who we are. So unless we change as a people, because the Bible talks about if my people who are called by my name, first and foremost, what they have to do. God lists the 3 things that they have to do so that He may come and be with them. If my people who are called by my name, first you have to be called by His name. So you have to acknowledge that God is eternal, immortal, invisible, and sovereign in your life. So if you humble yourself, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, humility. So if my people who are called by name shall humble themselves and pray and return. Hello?
And turns away from the evils.
Yes, and turn away. It is a 360 evolution. So that we have to stop being, we have to stop we personally, as a country, as a people, as a community, personally. Like, why you always find myself having problem with people who are tribal in our forum is because that's the first, that's if we have to change our people, if we have to change our country, we have to change the way we think. I usually admonish those who are against. I usually lift those like Mzalendo. He is a Luo. But you'll never hear Mzalendo who going towards the Luo way. I am a Kikuyu. You'll never hear myself going towards. I'm not saying that to castigate the Kikuyu and Watukane, you insult them and do stuff against them because they are my people. I'm not saying that we go out of our way and start insulting Luos because Mzalendo is a Luo. You know, he will always stand with his people because the moment we start going out and killing Luos, who knows, we may end up killing his friends, his relatives, his sons, his daughters, and even himself. So first and foremost, we have to change who we are. Now let's go back to what is happening currently. Let's go back to what is happening currently in our country. Ruto is a caged animal as we are speaking. He is going out of his way to make sure that he is not going to just go away and be a forgotten president or persona, or be declared persona non grata within the politics of Kenya. What he is doing? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. And if possible, if because I have several questions which I have to pose to the panelists, if you can tell us what you think about the JSC. Is it the government that is fighting the judiciary? Is it that they have conducted themselves against the law, or they are corrupt, or what do you think about that? Is it incompetence and the like? So that we can go to the next questions.
Yeah, Bonamboro, I was getting to there. I was getting to that. What I'm saying is, this is just one of the many. This is one of the many ways Ruto is trying to make sure that he retains power come 2027. Yeah, because he knows within the universal suffrage, he is not going to get even close to 40%. So he is trying to pull the likes of Raila and the likes of whatever, I don't even know. But in particular, he is trying to create a strategy within which to make himself the president when it comes to 2027.
Yes.
So the judiciary is one of them. Foreign voters is also a part and parcel of one of his strategies. So GSC, as we may know it, it's within the beck and call of the president, because everyone is being appointed by the GSC is appointed by the president. He is the one who gives them. Yes, in as much as we may say that there is within the GSC we have bodies who contribute towards the membership, but it is within the president honor to and privy to appoint each and every individual within the GSC. So among the many things that the president is trying to make sure that he retains power come 2027 is the judiciary, because at the end of the day, is the one that is going to take to make the final decision whether his election come the 2027 general election is valid or not.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Giovanni. Our viewers, our listeners, this is Africa 24. In Africa 24, we have everything, including pastors. And you have heard even the word of God and what it states about leadership. So please remember to subscribe to Africa 24. And also, if you have something you'd like us to talk about, you can put it in the comment section. I have put the link there. If you want to join us, you can also do that. And you are most welcome. In Africa 24, we don't support any political party. We allow all people to make their submissions without fear or favor. So this is where you belong. Thank you so much. I want us to go to something else just briefly. We saw that Morara Kebaso visited the former deputy president Gachagua, and I heard somebody say that it seems he has joined the Wamunyoro Brigade. What do you think, Mzalendo? Many people, especially the young people, have a lot of hope with Morara Kebaso. Do you think that he has decided to join the Gachagua team?
No, I think this is a fresh breath. This is what we want to see in leadership. We need to see these young leaders consulting their elders, it's a good gesture. It's a good gesture because at the end of the day, political unity is what will bring us to where we want to be as a country. We saw Raila consulting with his people just the other week. He went back to his people to see what they have to say about his next move. So for Morara, I think he's reading from the script. It is good advice from his team he needs to consult. He's a young leader. He doesn't have the experience in the murky political world. So in Kenya, the only thing that can work is coalition. Politicians out there are trying to get into power or precisely the presidency. They need to consult widely. You saw what happened to Wajakoya. You saw what happened to Okuru Court. So you cannot go it alone. There are people who have built brands like Raila Odinga. They have built the ODM party for a period of 20 years. So when you are coming in as a player, you are coming in as an amateur in the game. So there are players who have been in the game for quite some time, and they know the referees in the game, and they know the pitches that they play, and they know the connections that they have. So politics is also like that. It's like a game of soccer. You are going away to play a game in Moranga. You have to know how hostile that crowd is. If you go to Nyeri, you know how to behave. If you go to Kisii, you know how to behave. If you are in Kondele, you know what to say about Baba, or else you'll be stoned. So these are some of the things that you need to understand in politics when you're coming in. But if you are green, then you need to learn from people who are more experienced. So I echo what Morara Kebaso has done. I also like what Kasmuel did. He has joined a party where he feels that this is where I belong. So that is democracy. That is what democracy is all about. It is the freedom of choice, freedom of association. If I want to associate myself with Gachagua or with
before you proceed, there are people who have been saying that that there is a high possibility that the people we were perceiving as the freedom fighters, as the liberators, as the only hope that we have in Kenya, have been bought by those that have been there in leadership. What do you have to say about that? Especially someone like Samuel has been criticized so much by joining Raila Odinga team.
No, Samuel has got a long way. Has got time is on his side. Age is also on his side. So whatever he does today, he can always rectify it tomorrow. He will not be judged by what he did yesterday, but he will be judged by what he will do tomorrow. So we are not perfect human beings. We are imperfect. So there is no this perfect politician that you want to tell me. Mention for me one perfect politician that you know in Kenya today, or mention, including myself. I am not perfect, including those who are getting into politics now. They are not perfect. And within time, you'll find that their image is tainted. Even if you go back to my background, you'll find a lot of imperfection. So we as politicians are not perfect. So you don't expect us to be this perfect human being who does not make mistakes.
Hold on there, Mzalendo. I'll be coming back to you. I want to give Jamin some few minutes so that we can hear his take on the same. Jamin, you have heard what Mzalendo has said. that the move of Morara Kebaso of visiting the former deputy president was a good move. And we want to hear what you have to say about the same. What do you think about that?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, what I can
Yes.
say is that all politicians are always driven by self-interest,
Yes.
and we can't just trust anybody. Since what we have seen, we are always betrayed at the end of whatever they always do. So what I want to say is that young man,
Yes.
from my point of view, I think he is just after his own self-interest. Because if you look at the Makor, he called Makor or who, initially he used to stand with the youths during the mandamano.
Yes. Yes.
But all of a sudden, he changed the course because he was given some money. And that's what I know. He was given some money. So this game of betrayal, we have just this country. We are going to be very, very careful with these politicians. Look at this old man called Raila Odinga. He used to stand with the youths, and during Mandamano, you realize that he just went underground, and he is the one whom we expect that actually he will stand with the youths during Mandamano. But because of that self-interest, he just went to the government. Now he's eating. Then he was told to go and vie for AU seats. But what I've realized that is it was just a game. He has come back. Now that he has come with other ways of now seducing this young generation to go back to him. And Odinga and William Ruto, they have schemed by not just to clinch into the seat, but to divide the fort so
Yes,
that
yes. Mr.
Kaongo will
Jamin,
go back to the seat. We have known those. We
yeah,
have known
we will come
it will
back
be
to,
good for what they are telling
Raila
us.
Odinga. Let us discuss more on the
Yes.
young generation right now. We are having a question about Raila Odinga. We'll get there. So,
Okay.
Mr. Giovanni, you have heard what Jamin has said. Where is our hope? Without this young generation, especially the Gen Zs, they have been sent by God to come and liberate us from the oppressors. And now they are eating on the same table. Is it a good move, or what do you think about that, sir?
As Mzalendo said,
Yes.
Kasamuel, for me, my take is one of the brightest stars to come out of Kenya. He's still naive and he's still young. The good thing about being young is you are liable to make mistakes, and you have that advantage of making mistakes because you can always rectify them later.
Yes.
And as he said too, is even within the ranks of our politician, even when if you go back even from the times of Shikuku, Kijana Amalo and the likes, even the President Kibaki, at one time he made mistakes.
Yes.
And by being young back then in 1990, when he stood against Moi alone and he spread away and the vote of Kikuyu, he split away the Kikuyu vote. He was able to recoup back and did the right thing later. Morara is still young, and I think most of the things that he's doing, even doing Harambes on social media, it is by virtue of being, he wants to achieve so much within the short time, and sometimes it's not possible. most of these politicians you see like Gachagua, these are battle-hardened politicians. They've been there. Gachagua was one time the PA of Uhuru, so he knows the inroads. He has been a DO. He has been in government. His brother has been a governor, so he knows the inroads, the dynamics, the mini dynamics of politics. So and then he has money, he has clout, he has following. He has been there, he has been tested, he has failed, but the likes of Morara lacks a lot in terms of financing. He still has youth exuberance. He's still naive. But when he's under someone as like Kasamuel did it the wrong way. We did not follow what was. It might come to haunt him later, but he can plead plausible deniability, but it's a negative dot within his CV as a politician. Morara is still doing well. He can still claim that he was with the person who was against the system and the state, which is against the people of Kenya and the growth of the people of Kenya. So, and he needs that. He needs support. He needs strength. And if he doesn't have strength, he's not able to perform within. He's not able to bring out the best out of that person. And if the likes of Martha Karua, atatumiwa, he'll be used, but he'll be used in a positive way. He will grow. And he's still young, as Mzalendo said. They have the advantage of making mistakes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Giovanni. I want to go to Bon. Mr. Boniface, what do you have to say? You have seen that we have been having a lot of hope with this young generation. Someone like Morara Kebaso, very wise guy, very smart upstairs. We had a lot of hope with the other gentleman by the name, what is his name? This gentleman who is eating with a big spoon. What do you have to say about, Kasamuel? What do you have to say about Morara Kebaso visiting the former deputy president, and also Kasamuel walking around with the former prime minister in choppers and all that? Do we still have the same hope? Do we still feel the same that the Gen Zs finally they have come to save Kenya? Mr. Boniface, before we go to the next question.
I think the Gen Z are the one who are going to determine the 2027 general election. So that is why you see Gachagua, and also you can see Raila Odinga trying to incorporate those key members of the Gen Z. Morara Kebaso, of course, he has been exposing the government for those projects that are unaccomplished, and of course, he has become familiar to Kenyans. So I think in 2027 we are going to see a new wave of the Gen Z, and of course we have seen Gen Z neglecting going to vote for the last 5 or 10 years. The Gen Z, they are not active. We did not have that wave of the Gen Z, but I think this time around in 2027 they're going to vote. That is why Kalonzo also said that the Gen Z, they are going to determine in 2027 a general election. So from my point of view, I think the Gen Z, they are the key determinants of the elections, because if they go and they vote for a specific leader, and you know Gen Z, they can be easily controlled. That is why before 2027, we are going to see a new wave, a new direction of the Gen Z, and the Gen Z, they will determine the elections results. Either one of the leaders is going to be supported by the Gen Z, or they give their leader those votes in 2027. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Boniface. I want us to go to the next question. Mzalendo, we have seen what has been happening around Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Most of the electorates, especially the supporters of Raila Odinga, are expecting that he is going to support William Ruto We were expecting him to announce that when he went to Mombasa. We were also expecting him to announce that when he went to Nyanza. But he has declined to say whether he is going to support William Ruto. Is Raila Odinga in crossroad, or do you think he is contemplating of joining Kalonzo Musyoka and Gachagua? I read somewhere where some leaders were saying if Raila Odinga will be assured by Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka and Uhuru Kenyatta and Natembeya that they were going to support him, he will not support William Ruto. He will be vying in 2027. What do you think about that, Mzalendo?
You know, Raila is in this kind of situation, and I want Kenyans to understand this very well.
Yes.
And this is the simplest analysis of the situation. Now, remember, you have got this. You used to have this beautiful girlfriend. You've been having him. You've been having her for about maybe 2 years or something, and you've gone places with a beautiful girlfriend to Addis. Everywhere you've been holiday. You've been going on holiday. People have known that indeed that this is Raila's girlfriend. Now, Raila wants to break up with the girlfriend. The girlfriend that people have really known that this has been my girl. This has been my woman. It becomes very very difficult for him that he has indeed found a new relationship, and he has to
Yes.
let this one go. What will he be telling William Ruto that what is the reason for me leaving you at this particular juncture? Yet
Yes.
we have gone through thick and thin with you. We have gone to Addis Ababa. You have sacrificed your finances, for this relationship to work. And here you are with a woman who is giving you just hope,
Yes.
hope that the future looks very bright. So where are you going to stick now? The
Yes.
answer is in black and white. Raila Odinga will stick with William Ruto, and is not going to go anywhere. He will stick with William Ruto because age is not also on his side. Age is
Yes.
also not on his side. It is a better gamble to stick with William Ruto to the end than to start another relationship with somebody who you don't know the future. Here, he already has a future with this girlfriend. They have bought a few things, a few household goods. They have a bed. They have slept on that bed. Vitovu zao zimelambana. Unasema vitovu zimeonana zikashikana. So hawa ni watu ambao huwezi watenganisha. They are joined like Siamese twins right now. What Raila is doing is just pretending to be this consultative, this democratic leader that is widely consulting. But if you look at his base, they also tell you a different story. They tell you that we are waiting for Baba's signal. So you wonder who is this that is consulting, because he doesn't mention God in his consultation. He only mentions the people, and the same people are the ones telling you we are waiting for Baba to give us direction. So for him, it is just a political gimmick, and and only some stupid Kenyans will fall into that gimmick. For me, I know he's going to root a fan. Thank you.
So, Mr. Jamin, you have heard what Mzalendo has to say about Raila Odinga. What do you think? What next for Raila Odinga? Do you think he will join Gachagua and the team, or he will stick with the president, or he's just not sure of what he wants? Mr. Jamin, it's your time.
Like what Mr. Msalendo has said,
yes,
Mr. Odinga is saying that he's consulting the people. And I don't know what he's going to consult these people, because he knows the problem that people are passing through. He knows what the people are telling him to do. Now, I think, as I said earlier, it's just a political game that is going on. And what I know, and we'll just take this to the bank.
Mm.
Raila Odinga will vie in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
And after vying, his intention is not just to go to the State House.
Yes.
But what I know is that they will talk to Mr. Ruto that now you can just vie so that
Mm-hmm.
we can divide this forts from Mount Kenya and other place of this country.
Mm-hmm.
So when they just
And your internet is breaking a little bit. You can go closer. You are coming.
and then after the winner at the end of this voting exercise.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, Mr. Jamin. Right now we can't hear you. I'm hoping Mr. Giovanni, you can hear me.
Yes, Mr. Mr. Jamin has brought a very a very a very I don't know whether we'll call it an insightful way of looking at things. Bwana Mzalendo, what do you think? You know, I've not been actually. It has been a problem within even my kind of understanding. I won't say I'm an ardent follower of Raila Odinga,
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. I'm gist of Raila Odinga, but of late, his kind of politics has not been auguring well with what I believe the man to be. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was right. Maybe he's getting old. Maybe his grasp on the ground it's beyond
Mm-hmm.
him. Maybe there's a lot of influence because first and foremost you need to understand the man
Yes.
is not alone. The man has a following of more than 2 million people behind him. So whenever he
Mm-hmm.
makes a decision, initially he doesn't make a decision in regard to the entire country. He first
Yes.
makes a decision regarding himself, then his community. And his community right now is saying that we need barabaras. I was with a friend of mine who was telling me like for the first time katika area zao wamepelekewa stima na Opio wadai. So it's about his community first. Even the handshake, the reason why Kikuyus had a problem with the handshake is because Uhuru went out of his way and did a lot of development in Nyanza more than he ever did in Kikuyu land. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you,
Yeah,
Giovanni.
yeah, yeah. Jamin is bringing another dimension in this argument. He is saying he may come back, he may come out and say, I'm not running, I'm not supporting Ruto. I'm going to stand and ODM is going to go it alone. Now, in his going alone, it's also in strategy, so that he may have the 50-50
Mm-hmm.
from the opposition and Ruto, not anybody not gaining 50%. Then he is going to support Ruto at the end of the game. And then even if Ruto wins, he is still in the plan and in the strategic placing of Ruto. I don't know how that is going to work out, knowing Ruto who he is. Now, if I may come back kidogo to the dynamics of who Ruto is.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you a slight preview of what God ordains a leader and what God desires of a leader. And Ruto is not one of the person and kind of a leader in terms of demeanor, character, disposition of what God would like in a leader. If you look initially at the time of when the Israelites wanted a leader, they say they wanted to have a leader, and they were very adamant because they said we want a leader like other tribes. They also have leaders, they have kings. So God told them that if the king comes, atachukua watoto wenu, ata-impose taxes on your life, atafanya blah blah blah. There was a list of upon what God said there is going to happen. But they said that notwithstanding, we still want a king. So God gave them a kind of king within what their desires were. First and foremost, at that time it is written that Saul was one of the most handsomest person within Israel. Alikuwa mrefu, ana mwili, ana sura. He was a very handsome guy. So when we elected Ruto had everything. He was very eloquent. He was tall. He was dark and handsome. I won't say he was bad looking, but but he was not the kind of a person that entails and God wanted. He was conniving. He was cunning. He went to the church. Actually, God used Ruto to bring out the filth in our church. You know, it is true, because now did you listen to?
In short, what I'm getting from you is that God chose Ruto for us to come and punish us
with a purpose and with a reason. First and foremost, to chastise Kikuyus, because Kikuyus were being led by hatred. You know why? One, because of Luos. Kikuyus hated Luos, so they took a reason why and for what reason ndio waweze kukataa baba. Now pia upande huu mwingine kanisa ilikuwa imedhoofika, imechafuka. God pia alitumia Ruto kutoa hiyo uchafu na kuiosha. You know, God is a very dynamic God. Yes. He uses the same thing that we think is ours ndio aweze kutunyorosha. Biblia husema the word of God is double-edged. Inachapanga upande huu, na inachapa upande huu mwingine. Now, let's go back to what God intends for kind of a leader.
Yes.
Ukiangalia baba, mimi nitasupport Jamini vile amesema. Baba na pia mzalendo vile anasema. Baba, you know, the Bible says that I am God. My glory will I not give to a graven image, nor my honor to any idol. God is a selfish God. Mtu anaitwa baba ametraverse our life, our country, our politics, our every dimension, every crook and I don't know whatever. Katika dimension zote katika life zetu. There is no way God atamwachilia unless akuwa naamuka ana declare Jesus is Lord ama God is eternal. And God hakuna siku atakubali mtu aritae na glory. Glory ni ya God, bro. Me, there's something I'm waiting for. There's something I'm waiting for. And this put it in perspective and put it in writing. We are going to see the fall of Odinga, Amolo, Raila. God lazima ata make sure atamuchafua. I don't know how. I don't know when. But I know. Ending ya Raila. Ending ya Raila. Na wale watu watamchafua, bro. Na wale watu watamchafua. No, this I'm speaking as a prophet. Na wale watu watamchafua si wengine ni watu wake.
Wow.
Wale watu watamchafua ni watu wake. Because at the end of the day, God lazima jina yake itainuliwa. He is that selfish. He is that jealous.
Are you just hold on a little bit. Are you in support of Baba supporting Ruto, or would you like him to go on his way, or where is your stand?
Briefly. Hivyo leo nitakujibu hii swali yako na swali niliuliza msee. Back when Osama walikuwa napigana na US, nikamuuliza, he was a Rastaman. I was very, ni wale wa rasta walikuwa very deep katika word ya God. Nikamuuliza between the US and Osama, ni nani mzuri? You know what he told me? Both of them are agent of Satan. Ruto and Raila, they are not pro people. But you know why they are not pro people? Because we go back to the Bible. Biblia husema, he'll give us we'll heap upon ourselves teachers with itching ears, teaching us fables. Sisi wenyewe ndio tumejiekelea wa viongozi na tunataka wakuwa na tudanganya. I don't know. I think we are just cursed generation. We like being lied to. We like being led astray. We like being tunaibiwa na tunaona tunaibiwa. I don't know. Bwana Mzale, I'm telling you, I don't know. I think the only redemption for us is...
Giovanni, I want to cut you short because I'll be coming back to you. Our viewers, this is Africa 24. Today is fire. Yeah, kumewaka moto. Mr. Boniface, Baba, you're a staunch supporter of Baba. What is your take? What next for Baba? Should he support the President William Ruto? Should he vie in 2027 or should he join Gachagua? What do you think?
Baba for 2027 so that we can get those 6,000 at the end of every month. Baba for 2027.
Interesting. Are you done? Wow, that's the most interesting answer and very brief that I have had today. Let me read some of the comments in the comment section from Awesome. Awesome, we really appreciate you have been keeping us very busy. Then I'll give 2 minutes for the panelists. Whoever wants to respond to what Awesome is saying, you can just summarize. I'll start from Kasamuel here, where I can see Kasamuel. Yeah, let me start from the first one here. Morara has always thrived by attacking the president through unfinished projects, and Kasamuel has always been pro-Raila, so he had to follow him. The other one says, Kasamuel is more smarter than Morara, who has shown weaknesses when it comes to leadership. He couldn't account for the money he received online given by the Gen Zs. That one flopped big time. Raila is also a very bright politician since he has seen there is no path to the presidency. Currently, there is no one who has the muscle to over a formidable campaign against Ruto. When I say muscle, I mean financial power to defeat Ruto. The other one states that one thing that I have also noticed is those regions which are making a lot of noise that the current administration is not performing well is because they are used to eating more than their share. The economy of this country has never grown more than 10%. It has remained in the same range even when Kibaki was the president. But when a different region takes over and tries to balance the cake, he didn't finish that. Sharing those who used to eat much feels the economy is not working. And tries to balance the cake sharing, those who used to eat much feels the economy is not working. So Kenyans need to learn to eat what is fair, but not more than the rest. Let me read the final one here. When you hear any conversation from this central region, it makes people pissed off. This is a region that is so self-centered and it will be very difficult to work with. I think sharing the cake must be a must. There is no shortcut. I'll give 2 minutes to the panelists. Whoever want to respond, yes. You just make it brief.
I think I would like to respond to Awesome. And there is this talk of Kikuyu tribal politics. You know, when you when you hear people who are pro William Ruto, there's a narrative that they've been trying to peddle around that, the Kikuyu community is this and that. And we've not heard it from Raila himself or William Ruto, the leader. But it is a sentiment that they share in common. Although they have not come out as leaders to say that, it is something that they are talking about. Now, the third scenario is that Kikuyu this, Kikuyu that. Kikuyus are self-centered. It simply means that Kikuyu works together, just like the bees. The bees work together and they achieve a lot together. When you work alone, you don't achieve so much. But the Kikuyu community has learned the art of working together. And the other tribe, it is just out of envy that they look at this community working ethics that is not working for them. If you look at my community where I come from, if you are in the diaspora, any part of the diaspora, the community that you can invest on are the Kikuyu community, are the community that you can rely on, are this community, So your social capital really matters. The person I would call at 3 a.m. And pick my call is Jeffrey Mburu. If I call or Giovanni or Ayub Mugo, so those are people I know. If I call at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., they will not ask a question na huyu mzalendo anataka nini sasa. You understand? Because they know that when there is social capital or investment that you have done together, then that creates that kind of bond. So that is the envy that these other tribes have. Do they have that? Are they also tribal? Yes, the Luo community are tribal. They have rallied against one of their own, who is Raila Odinga. What is the difference between what Gachagua is doing to his community? It is the same thing. It's the same thing. When you go back now to history, they tie this to history and to another oath that probably my grandchildren or my son would not even know the significance or the importance of those particular oaths. But people want us to believe that those oaths are so important to us in this day age as Christians that those oaths are taken by your grandfather. They stick with you until today, and that you cannot make a conscious decision because of a certain oath that was taken by another tribe in the mountain. Whether the Kikuyu people walked naked or not, that is their own business with their community. Whether it was part of their culture, that is their own problem.
Thank you, Mzalendo. I'll be coming back to you. Mr. Jamin, do you have anything to say on the comments that I have read? Any of them? I'm sorry if you are talking, we can't hear you, Mr. Jamin. Giovanni, you can go ahead.
Okay. Basically, it's weird, very weird. There is a Mzungu who came and we visited. We were with him. He's a friend of mine, and that's like 10 years ago. And that's what he told me. Kenya is a very weird country. We have two main protagonists because he talked about protagonist tribes in Kenya, and that's Kikuyus and Luos. He told me that any other thing they eat together, they work together, they scheme together, they go running after girls together, they riot together, they do business together, they go to Russia together, they marry, they intermarry between themselves. But when it comes to politics,
kwanza wametunyang'anya wasichana wetu karibu wote, sijui watu wetu wataoa wakina nani.
Hata mimi, even me, my brother ameoa huko Ujaluoni. We now Kikuyu guys are marrying also Luos. But when it comes to politics, the amazing thing when it comes to politics, Kikuyu and Luos, they don't see face to face. I think that should be put in the 7 wonders of the world, because that's what the Muzungu told me. Actually, I've never, I before that, I had never sat down and thought about it. But funny enough, today, if my mechanic is a Luo.
Yes.
Most of my close friends, kina Mzalendo, are Luos. I really have close friends who are Kikuyu isipokuwa Mogo. And most of my friends, close business, close relations, people who have worked with me are Luos. But when it comes to politics, even the closest friend of mine, nitajaribu kumwalika kwa hii nini napenda kuongea mingi.
Giovanni, wacha nikukat too short. You know, Mburu. Me,
Yes.
Giovanni, and another friend of ours is not here, Mugo. We used to argue for hours. For hours. We would do everything together. We would do all the things together. Tufanye kila kitu, tufanye kitu. Then they would lie to me that they are going to vote for Raila.
But you see the good thing,
at the end of the day, yeah.
You see the good thing. I've been listening and I've been reading the comments from Giovanni. Yeah, today he's a staunch supporter of Baba. Do you see that?
You know, Giovanni has always been like that. He has always been like that.
I voted for Baba.
He has always been like that. You see, Giovanni is one person who always wants to be on the good side of history. Yeah.
In this show, I'm the only one who has never voted for Baba, and when I am saying this time, I
don't think you can vote for Baba, because I don't really think you will vote for Baba. You need a lot of cleansing to vote for Baba, Mr. Mburu. You need to understand. You need to understand a lot of things so that you can vote for Baba. I think the spirit of your grandfather and the Kikuyu community cannot allow you to go beyond.
This is a Baba moment. This is the opportunity for Baba to lead
this
nation.
You don't lie to them there. I think unataka kumpeleka Raila, unataka kupeleka Raila kwa kichinjio. Kwa nini? Just hold on. That's how tunataka kusema unataka kupeleka Raila kwa kichinjio. And you know, one of the things that you have to remember is that Martha Karua also lied to Raila Odinga that he will deliver Mount Kenya, and it didn't happen. Uhuru Kenyatta tried the same. Our old president tried the same. It didn't happen. So wewe Gachagua anaambia Raila ati wewe kuja mountain tutakupatia kura. I mean, that is the day Kikuyus will make an about turn and say no. To them, Raila is like a skunk in the room. They will take off.
Mzalendo, just hold on there. Let us hear if Jamin is back. Is your network okay? If you can hear us, just say something, Mr. Jamin. Yeah, that network is giving us a hard time. Just a minute, Giovanni. There is another point from Osam here, which is very interesting, that the difference between Luos and Kikuyus is God-given. That imagine if the two tribes were to agree to work together, other tribes would never rise to power or would never get a share, equal share of the cake. What do you think about that, Giovanni?
One thing I want to tell you is God protects the country called Kenya through two tribes.
Yes.
If Kikuyus and Luos, you know, one is cunning. The other is at war. One is warring, the other one is cunning. If the two tribes were to come within, they were to come together and govern Kenya, trust me, hizi makabila zingine zote hazitakuwa na uwezo wa kuongea anything, brother. They won't have anything.
Is it possible you elaborate your parable? Who is cunning and who is at war? and
Now,
a little bit just to let us understand what you are saying.
When you go to archives, the Kenyan archives,
yes,
it describes the Muzungu, the colonialist, described every tribe within Kenya. The first tribe he described were the Kalenjins. He said these are warlike community. The second tribe he described were the Luos. He said the Luos were violent and they were loud. The third tribe he described were the Kuyus. He said the Kikuyus were cunning and never to be trusted. You remember the time of Ihinga, where it was called Chief Ihinga, when they were given treaties, and then when the Mzungus came, the treaties were never honored. So the Kikuyus are like that. And when you go to archives, they describe every tribe and the way Mzungu saw them to be. And let me tell you something. It is exactly the kind of people and the kind of tradition that we have today. What I would say is I love my brothers Luos. And I know they're also in love with Ben. And they love Kikuyus. Any Kikuyu who starts a business, aweending akaeka kabila ingine isipokuwa Mjaluo. Mjaluo akieka kazi, anaekanga Mkikuyu. You go look and you look properly. Even myself, panel beating yangu inafanyangwa na Wajaluo. I don't even trust my own Kikuyus. My engine inaangaliangwa na Wajaluo. And yes, because first and foremost, I feel okay with them. They are genuine, they are straight. Kikuyus, mi najua watani sabotage. Luos, they are going to make sure that the thing itakuwa sawa. You are going to pay top dollar because they are not cheap. Luos are not cheap, but they are going to give you the correct value for your money. Now, what Muzelando was saying about Kikuyus and how we are coming, there is what I would say it's about the originality of where we are coming from. In Kikuyu, we call it Kehumo. Kehumo is where we as Kikuyus come from, our beliefs, our culture. We always believe that Luos are there to make sure that tunalainishwa. Lazima tutavaa tu kabutula. So, and it's an in thing. It's an inbred thing. It's an inbred fear that if a Luo will take power, all Kikuyus will wear kaputula. You know, let him say something.
Giovanni, hold there. Boniface, do you have something to say about what those comments we are discussing here before we go to another topic? Boniface, if you can hear me.
Asleep.
Yeah, Boniface, anytime you see that Boniface is not on the video, the sleep has overtaken him. Now, Giovanni and Muzarendo, a lot has been happening, especially with the William Ruto administration. There has been allegation that William Ruto, president, has been meddling with the politics of Congo and Southern Sudan, that the rebels are coming to hold their meetings here in Kenya, which I think if those allegations are true, they can put, or he can put Kenya into a very serious danger of conflict, of war in future. Muzarendo, what do you have to say about that? That he has an interest, especially in Congo with gold, Sudan. Yes.
You see, William Ruto is a very intelligent man. He's already aligning himself to the international politics. What you see happening in the US and all that. Nobody really cares whether you align yourself with rebels or you align yourself with the communists.
So you think that is intelligence, whereas many people are terming this as recklessness.
I am coming to my point. You know, the issue of gold. Let me tell you the genesis of gold coming from Kinshasa. Remember Kabila, the junior Kabila, who was the president of DRC Congo, who took over after his father. Kabila went to school in Nairobi. He learned in Nairobi High School. He made friends with the Kenyans in Nairobi. And remember the gold that was stolen, a whole plane that was stolen from DRC Congo by Kenyans. That gold that caused a diplomatic row between the Kenyan government and the government of Kabila, and Kabila came looking for his gold in Kenya. It shows you the extent of the gold business in Kenya. Kenyans are known to be gold scammers too. The current speaker of Parliament, Mr. Wetangula, was the other day
is a gold broker. Just
involved in a brokerage in Dubai. How he got away with it, I can tell you for free that the government of Kenya knew about it and knew about what was happening in that particular business. So we have been having these shoddy deals done by leaders, and we were comfortable with them. Now they are coming out in the light. You know, this janjaweed or this gold scammers are coming out and saying that, you know, me, I do business with your president, utaniambia nini? You know, I do business with your president. A long time ago, they used to hide, but now they have been emboldened that they can even be invited to the State House and have a meeting with the president. And yet the president knows that this one is a fraudster. This one is a fugitive that is known by the international community. So this is something that is not good. It's not bringing the good image to the country, and I believe that was one of the major reasons why Raila lost the AUC seat, because we are seen like, you know, these Kenyans are scammers. Yeah, our president is a scammer. We are scammers. We are next to the Nigerians now, you know. So if you have somebody who the others are looking at him as a scammer, then there's nothing good that is going to come out from that kind of presidency. But back to your point, where, you know, when you look at the situation in India,
Mzalendo, before you go on, you started by saying that Ruto is intelligent, and then you end up when you're finalizing the same point, you end up saying that it is doing a wrong thing by entering himself in these shenanigan kind of deals. Don't you think you're contradicting yourself?
I was coming to my point. You know why his intelligence comes in. He knows that when he plays this kind of politics, he is going to be a darling of the oppressor, and that is what the West is all about. He's going to be the darling of the people who are looting the gold from Kinshasa, Congo, and all that. He knows the kind of countries that are dealing with this kind of schemes in Kinshasa. He knows the people who are supporting the Janjaweed to come into power. He already knows that. The intelligence community has told him, hey, these are the people you need to align with. It is not by default that is aligning in that particular group. He knows where the power is, and that is why he's aligning himself with this kind of leader. So for him, that is a game plan politically. But for other people would look at it like, hey, this president is doing a wrong thing. Me, I look at it, yes, you're doing a wrong thing. This is not what the people of Southern Sudan want. You have known very well that the international community are involved in our politics. They are involved in even the American politics. If they want to change the regime, you've seen the Russians being accused to be meddling with American politics. You've seen the Americans being accused to be meddling with the German politics. In the other elections that have just ended, in Germany, they were supporting the opposition, and the opposition lost, and they were not shy about it because this opposition stood for what they believe in. And some of those things are issues within the LGBTQ and issues of freedom and issues of immigration. If they don't want black people in their country, then that one goes well with Donald Trump. So the German people and the opposition, they are asked to align themselves with what this other country wants. Same to Kenya. When a regime in power, as powerful as the US is, there are policies that you have to change right now. Right now, the Biden policies are not working in Kenya. And if at all Ruto wants to implement any of those Biden policies that they had signed with the former president of the US, I am telling you, they will not see eye to eye with Donald Trump. And that is how the world politics is. Things have really changed. Things have really changed with the new president. So every other country is trying to align itself with the new order. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Muzalendo. Mr. Giovanni, I want to come to you. And this is how I would like to put it. Under normal circumstance, I think a good president would be sympathetic and empathetic of the people who are suffering. We know very well that many people have died in DRC because of the conflict between the government and the M23. Equally, the same has happened in Sudan. Would I be wrong to say that if it is true our president has been meeting the leaders of the rebel groups, we are having someone who is a criminal as our president? What do you think about that?
Okay, first and foremost, I would say politics, it's local.
Yes.
When I say it's local, I believe that it has to start from where you come from. And when you look at, in particular, this guy called Ruto, is kind of, and his manner of politics within even our country, it leaves a lot to be desired. So by extent, if he goes out of the country and does the same, he does politics outside our country, it's not going to be a different scope and scape from the same kind of politics that he does in our country.
Yes.
Why am I saying yes? What am I saying this? I am not expecting Ruto to be a diplomat, a good leader, a visionary leader, whereas even in our own country, he is not. So who he is, basically, here in Kenya, is what he does outside is basically in the same breath what he does in our own country. Mzalendo said about the geopolitics. If forgot to talk about the geopolitics, there is a lot of geopolitics in play here. But he talks about business. Ruto is a businessman. He talks about his intelligence, but I would say his intelligence is wicked towards conniving and cunning. But it's also intelligence, you know? It's also intelligence. If you can be able to con someone, basically, it's not easy to con someone, you know? You need to be intelligent enough to con someone. So I'd say is intelligence, but in the negative aspect of intelligence. But he's doing business. For Ruto, it's about greed. And why he was exposed the way he was exposed, because he took his greed to the next level. So it was easy for him to be exposed. But if he could have been, because I believe even at the time of people like Uhuru and Kibaki, there are always regional interests put in place. Like what you saw today at the White House. Was it today or yesterday? And
yesterday.
Yes, and you could see there were politics in play, there were business in play, there were interest in play. So within even the East Africa and larger East Africa, because DRC to us is a larger extent of East Africa, we have interest. You know, we can't keep sending them peacekeepers, but we are getting nothing. Their interest, there is always treaties, there is always an agreement that we are going to do this, but on behalf of us doing this, you are going to get this. So, but when this guy called Ruto does, because I want to call him guy, unfortunately, but when he does this kind of treaties and agreements, he does not do them on behalf of Kenya. He does them on behalf of Ruto. You know, so it's just a case of chicken coming home to roost.
Thank you so much, Mr. Giovanni. Our viewers, this is Africa 24. If you have not subscribed, please do so. I think that's the only way you can support us. You can support us by watching, viewing, and also commenting on the comment section. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to Africa 24 if you have not done so. Our good panelist here, I have one final question for you, or it's only one more topic I would like us to discuss, and then we're gonna end the show. Giovanni has invited us to now go international when he touched on the heated debate that was there in the Oval Office yesterday between President Trump and President of Ukraine, Zelensky. And that's what I want us to discuss, how President Trump is handling his international politics. Yesterday, we heard him say that for America to protect Ukraine, Ukraine has to surrender 50% of its minerals to America. And also, he's having a conflict with Canada because he has imposed tariffs on all imported goods from Canada, which is around 25% tariff. The same with China and Mexico, and they're having a very serious conflict. And this conflict is also likely to cause global inflation, because America is a superpower, and whatever affects America, whatever affects a country like Canada, will affect all the nations of the world, just like it happens between Russia and Ukraine. The whole world suffered. So, Giovanni, you have seen how Trump is handling his international politics, or they are having this trade conflict. What do you have to say about it? I'm happy that you watched that heated exchange of words yesterday. What do you have to say about that?
Let me give my partner panelist to speak first, then I will respond later.
Beautiful. Zarendo, go ahead.
I think that was a shame. That was a total humiliation of a visiting president to the United States. It is something that was uncalled for. It is you know, Mburu, if I come to your house and all your children and family members gang against me, and we were supposed to have a conversation or a deal. Yeah,
yes.
I was supposed to sell for you my land, and then what you're placing on the table is not satisfactory. So I tell you, you know what? I can't go by this deal. This is not good enough for me. You need to be, you need to adjust yourself and give me what is worth what you're taking from my country. So that is what it was, a gentleman conversation. But what Donald Trump decided to do is he decided to become with the whole of his family, his vice president, the international media, the Russian press in the Oval Office. So that was kind of humiliating. Some of these things are done in closed doors, and he has done it before with the UK Prime Minister. He has done it before with with Canada, you have a closed door meeting with the president, and that is what is dignified. But when you see a president of Ukraine walking into the White House and is asked, by the president, look here, how are you dressed? I thought
Why
you
are
should
you not
come
in
in
a suit?
yeah, why are you not in a suit? And let me tell you another thing. Let me tell you another thing about how you greet someone when you meet them. When I greet you and look at you straight in the eyes, then I hold your body like touch you. It means I'm the big boy here. You are a nobody. You understand? When I greet you and don't touch you anywhere, then it means
I,
that
I
we are on the
respect you.
same page. That I
Mm,
respect. So that initially, but I like what Zelensky did, and after being humiliated, he went again to the Republican broadcasting station, which is Fox, for an
mm,
interview, and the Fox presenter asked him several times to apologize. If he would apologize to President Donald Trump, he said no. He said he is not going to apologize. He never did anything wrong. And he's in a foreign country. If it were me, I would be taking off in the next plane to Ukraine after being
yes.
humiliated like that. I don't think I would even sleep in that country. I would be having my next press conference in somewhere in Kiev, in
Mm,
Ukraine. But it is sad what happened, and we have seen the reaction from the international community. We have seen the reaction from the Democratic Party. We have seen, of course, the reaction from Trump supporters. That the Zelensky was not respectful for the president. But look here, Mburu, if you are in your
yes.
sick bed, you are sick and you are dying, and I come with a deal, and your bill is accumulating to so much, and I
Mm,
come with a deal and tell you, for you to get out of this sick bed and for us to continue giving you oxygen, yeah, what you need to do is to sign this particular document, or else we plug out that oxygen. That is exactly what Trump is doing. And it is quite inhuman, quite exploitive of the American president. I think
mhm,
America has never been like this before. The same standards were not used in Israel, and is using the same standard and same measure for the people of Ukraine. I sympathize with the children of Ukraine, the children of Russia, and the people who have to go through this war. It is just high time that that the war should end, so that everlasting peace can be found in Ukraine and in Russia. Nobody wants to go into war. War is not something very very cheap. It is something so expensive. But the only solution for this particular war is for Ukraine to join NATO. When Ukraine joins NATO, then they are guaranteed of support from the NATO countries. But this is not. This is what Putin doesn't want. He doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO, because when he joins NATO, then there's that guarantee of arms, the guarantee of support that Putin finds a threat to the Russian government. So he doesn't want democracy in Ukraine, and you've seen ever since the traditional enemy of the American people has been Russia and China. So to have a president who is leaning towards the Russian people, it is an insult maybe to so many people who have perceived Russia as the enemy of the American people. But this president is unique. Is using his diplomatic uh, ways, which we find sometimes unorthodox, because his secretary, Mr. Rubio, had a very good conversation earlier on with Zelensky. Zelensky had a conversation with the congressmen and women, and they had a very cordial relationship. There was not this shouting back and forth. But if you read a book called is it called The Art of the Deal? You know, you place a deal, and when somebody is refusing to sign that deal, you walk away from that deal, hoping that he will come back. The good part of it is that Zelensky has not come back to sign the deal. He has not come back. He was being intimidated to go and think about it and come back and sign the deal unconditionally. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mzalendo. Mr. Giovanni, you know that.
Yeah, what I think, I concur in most of the things that Zalendo has said. But in particular, I would state that for the spiritual, all things are spiritual, and for the carnal, all things are carnal. I had a very traumatic childhood as an experience, and in one of the times that I was growing up, I was always being intimidated. Today, when I saw that clip, it reminded me of my childhood, where I was supposed to keep quiet, where I was supposed to have no right, where I was supposed not to have any say, where I was supposed not to have any voice or sound. And whenever I spoke, I was always declared that I spoke out of turn. And I remember Zalendo remembers the church we used to go. My character, and in particular my disposition, was well fashioned through what I went through as a child. So I was a cantankerous fellow. I used to talk a lot, and I remember back then, while we were doing some rounds as a church, we used to have cells. Then I remember one of the time we were doing house to house fellowship. So house to house visiting, like there was a new member who came to a church. So as a cell within that area, we used to go and visit that member. Then I remember one particular time we went to visit one member, and the section leader. This section leader used to maybe be the head of almost a whole estate, like Jericho or Uhuru or Bahati. You understand what I'm saying? You've been to Nairobi, you understand that. So I remember one time he told me he was introducing everybody. And then I introduced you, and as he used to say, this is Esther, she loves the ABCD, she's a beautiful girl, blah, blah, blah. He was to a guy, he used to say, blah, blah, blah. He is a good guy, he does that. And then he goes to another guy, he says, he loves eating food, blah, blah, blah. But when he came to me, he said, this guy is called Ben. He talks a lot. I have, it was like the whole world was against me. This is the church. This is where I'm supposed to feel and to belong. That guy called Zelensky, at that particular time, when he was being called at the White House, he felt this is the place that he could get help. He could find identity. He could find people who will walk with him. And that particular time, I didn't understand why this guy would just take away my weakness, or what he presumes to be a weakness from my part. I didn't know back then that me talking was wrong. And since that day, I started, even when I was going to the cell meetings, I used to pray to God. I know Mzalendo is
not talk a lot.
Yes, every time I used to pray and ask God, please God, help me today that I should not talk a lot. Please, God, help me today. And even when Mzalendo, I remember I went to their sales. I used to go to do Jericho sales, and then I do Isili sales. So every time I used to go to those sales, I used to ask God, please, God, help me today that I should not talk much. But it took the hand, and let me say, the great hand of God and the almighty hand of God to talk to me and tell me that it's not that you talk much. There are people who are intimidated by you having so much to talk about, and you have so much information that they don't like it. You understand what I'm saying? That for
Yes,
me
yes.
was a redemption. And God talked to me. He fathered me, and that's why every time you find me talking, I'm always referring to God. People don't understand. People don't know. It's a relationship I have with my God, because He has walked with me in many ways than one. So at that time, He told me, "Please, that which I've put in you is so strong that many people envy it." You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that today, when I saw Zelensky, it reminded me of that day where he was supposed to keep quiet. You remember when he was being, no, don't talk. You don't have, Trump, that's what Trump was telling him. No, you don't have any right to talk. Keep quiet. Don't talk.
Yeah.
I felt fear. Today, I remember what fear feels like when you are before people who are strong, who have money, and when you look at them, they are buffoons. They have nothing. Because after that, I started seeing, before, when God talked to me, I remember I started seeing people, and enyewe nikaanza kuangalia nikaona, sure, enyewe, this guy has nothing between his ears. There's nothing that he can tell me. He doesn't read, he doesn't, when we speak, we have to always speak from a position of understanding, a position of knowledge. And that is one thing that every time when you talk, you have a reference from. You talk, you read an ABCD. So when you talk from a diverse position of understanding. Now, when Trump was telling him to keep quiet, shut up, ABCD, it reminded me of how weak
Yes.
You remember there was a statement I wrote on our forum that the weak, that the strong have their way, and the weak do what they must. That's the essence. So as long as you are weak, you have no say, brother. You have no say, and that is exactly what Ukraine is going through. They are being surrounded right, left, and center, castigated right and center by virtue of their weakness. Israel is being supported. You know why the Americans support Israel? Because virtually everything that is American, from every inception, every innovation, it's virtually Israel's.
Israel, yes.
So there's everything that is American, kutoka masimu kwenda technology, kwenda farming, technology ya farming, ya simu, ya whatever, it's always innovated and invented in Israel. But in Ukraine, the only thing they have is their resources. So it is a scramble for their resources. So they have to intimidate them. They have to intimidate them and make them quiet. And this is not just for Ukraine. America is doing that in particular as a stepping stone for many things that they're going to do for the entire world. But however, it is also the end of an era for America. This is a starting end of an era. Because God is not intimidated, my brother. I rest my case.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gipani. Thank you so much for your insight. Mzalendo, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Our viewers, this is Africa 24. Remember to subscribe. If you have a comment, just drop it on the comment section. And we really appreciate to see that you have been here watching and being together with us. Thank you so much for those who have been writing their comments. I'll be reading them shortly. Awesome. Peter Autieno, thank you so much. And those that have not dropped the comment, I will not be able to see you right now, but I'll definitely do that. Mzalendo, I don't know why you are disappearing. I am requesting that we give our final remarks. So whatever you wanted to say, you can say it in summary so that we can end the show, because it's almost, actually, it's already 1 a.m. so that we can retire to bed. Our viewers, after we give our final remarks, we're going to meet tomorrow. Thank you. Giovanni, you can give us your final remarks.
What I wanted to say.
Yes.
I don't know what God has in store for humanity.
Mm.
Because all those things we keep talking about from our country, from our families, there is only the division from our families, from our community, going towards our country, going towards the entire world. I don't know what God has in store. But one thing I believe in, there is a greater purpose. As I said, when I was contributing from the in my early argument, that for the spiritual, all things are spiritual, and for the physical, all things are physical, because the physical mind cannot discern things which are spiritually discerned by the spiritual man. I believe there is a spiritual connotation and purpose within what is happening. If we can be able to relate what is happening is spiritually, no, physically through the spiritual eye, we'll be able to have a greater grip on what we should be, what we should do, or what we should not do.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Giovanni. Mr. Mzalendo, you can give us your final remarks, and there is something you wanted to add. Please do it now.
Yes. What I wanted to say is, can you hear me, Buru?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we do.
What I wanted to say is that, when we were growing up, and thanks to Giovanni for reminding me about the cells, we grew up in a Christian foundation where we used to pray together with so many groups. And I hope Pastor Don is still alive and listening, that he impacted a lot of knowledge to so many Kenyans as a missionary, and they did a good job in that. So, yes, and we still stand by the word on what we believe in, and that culture started a long time ago. It is not just by default we say these things here on this forum. We are Christians, and we believe in the fundamentals of Christianity. Now, what is happening in the US is like what happens in a school when you have a bully. When you have this bully in your class, he's been bullying everybody, yeah. And then one day somebody says enough is enough. Today, Leo ataona. Then this tiny little guy stands up to the bully and beats the bully up so much, and that is what will happen to America. Unfortunately, somebody has to stand up and say no. Things can't happen like that. Yeah, there is humanity, there is compassion in this world. You can't just be bullying us because you are America, or because you have the resources, or because of your military capability. We are also human beings. Yeah. So I think on this day, Zelensky stood for so many other people who have got no voices and are hurting because of a dictatorship or authoritarianism by the Trump regime. So it's a good thing. It is a good thing that one day somebody has to stand up for what they believe in and for what is right. So we also, even in our country. We stand up for what we believe in. We stand up for the things that we feel are right for us as a country. So I agree. I agree with people who want to look at things different from my perspective, but I also want them to also respect my choice. I want them to understand that, okay, we are in politics, but it is not a matter of life and death. We are looking at our country now and beyond. So what do we do as a country? We have to work together. We have to work very hard to find the kind of leadership that we want. And one parting shot that I feel is very, very important for the people of Kenya is that the political class has played us for a very long time, and it is high time right now that the people of Kenya, look at look at look at our country in a different way. Look at technocrats who can improve the country, especially in matters of economy, in issues of health. Let us not look at a politician in the politicians who have been playing us year in, year out. Let us look at uh, somebody who will take us to the next level. And this interview for the presidency of Kenya must be conducted in a free and fair manner. And I'm not talking about the election. Somebody who is going to oppose William Ruto, all these candidates who are posing as presidential hopefuls for the country of Kenya must pass through a scrutinized process by the people of Kenya, and we must own it. We must tell them that we need a reputable firm to come up with one candidate who has got charisma, who fears the Lord, and who will take Kenya to the next level. Otherwise, thank you very much for having me in the station, and I hope to see you tomorrow and another day. And thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, everybody on the panel section. Asanteni sana na mbarikiwe.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Mzalendo. Thank you so much also, Mr. Giovanni. Every time you come here, Mr. Giovanni and Mzalendo, you make this show to be very, very beautiful, as we have seen today. Tomorrow, let us meet here, same time, same place. Our viewers, God bless you. God do you good. That marks the end of our show. Thank you so much. And God.
Thank you.